Hello everyone, Chris here. In this video, I would like to discuss a very counterintuitive yet very painful topic for many players in the Overwatch 2 community at the moment: tank role. I absolutely hate playing tank, and I don't have a single friend who would disagree with me on that topic. It's interesting how people were complaining as soon as they removed 6 versus 6. And I'm about to give you a few reasons why playing tank is horrible in the current scenario, in the current meta. One of the biggest problem I see as a 5 versus 5 tank player is the lack of unpredictability. You have to understand that when you love something, you invest a lot of resources into it. Plus, this activity is very unpredictable. I absolutely love hiking because I don't even understand where I'm gonna end up in 5 minutes, not to say where I'm gonna end up in an hour. When you're playing a tank role, and there are certain maps that you are expected to play certain characters, this element fades away, it disappears and never comes back, just as your fun that you had once while playing Overwatch disappeared, and now you're just playing this game out of the habit or because you're addicted. It's interesting how there are maps like Havana, Circuit Royale, and Junkertown where you are absolutely forced to play Sigma because you are expected to shield your snipers, shield your Baptistes, Zenyatas, or other poke characters that you play in this comp. And if you would want to stray away from that path for some reason, maybe you absolutely hate playing Sigma or you wanna OTP Wrecking Ball, you are going to get so criticized. Your teammates and your opponents are gonna be so toxic towards you. It is absolutely insane. Let me give you another example. We have a certain set of maps with very high verticality, where you literally have to initiate and zone out your enemies who are gonna stay on high grounds and destroy you if you don't do that. So by you playing on maps such as Watchpoint, Gibraltar, Dorado, Numbani, or Hollywood, and if you are not playing Winston or Diva on those maps, if you're playing in lobbies starting from mid-masters, you are going to be absolutely mentally shattered by the commentaries of sneaky little toxic teammates that are willing to teach you the ways to play the game. As a tank player, you are very connected to the meta. And in the current scenario, for higher levels of gameplay, you are expected to play certain characters and no one else. And it absolutely doesn't matter whether you are getting countered and your teammates cannot do anything. This is a big topic, and we will touch on it a little bit later. Or it doesn't matter whether your teammates are not even playing anything close that can help you become better as a tank. It's very interesting how on maps with verticality where you would want to play Winston, you will fail to have Ana players. And Ana is a very crucial support to have, as there are not many characters that can do what she does. Not only that, you will not be able to get yourself Ana as a character, but when you do, for the most of the part, your Ana is drunk, the character is just not utilized to the full potential. The player that's playing Ana is not willing to put in an extra work and just slacks off, missing all of his shots. It is a complete disaster. It is a downfall slope, and I absolutely hate playing tank role. Another big aspect that I wanted to touch on is the fact that you are playing a character that has limited amount of DPS dealt, yet you are expected to have same amount of damage as your DPS players, plus even more than that. The fact that you as a tank player are obligated to initiate team fights for the most part because you are literally the person at the front and you see their whole lineup and you understand the perfect time to go, you have to create space for your DPS to get into advantageous position and use them to unleash the full potential of your comp. You have to protect your teammates, peel the backline, go for the enemy supports so they cannot pressure your team. You have to be a leader, you have to be a shot caller, you have to be a person that's speaking in the microphone the most and making the difference in that regard. As well as you are going to be a number one person that's going to get blamed for everything that's happening towards your team. And for some reason, you are expected to have more DPS, more damage than your DPS players. Plus, you have to do all of that. And then you look at your scoreboard and quickly you realize that they are not trying. They don't care. You are investing so many resources. You have to literally reserve so much of your brain capacity towards that action to get nothing in result, get nothing in return, to get absolutely nothing accomplished. And I forgot to mention a very interesting thing where you are going to catch every single crowd control ability there is in the game. I'm talking about Acid Grenade while you're getting hindered. I'm talking about Pharah Mercy. I'm talking about Boops. I'm talking about Freezes from Mei. Talking about Fluxes. You're gonna get solo grabbed. You are going to get slept and antied. You are going to get hacked. And all of that for playing your favorite character. Do you deserve that? Would you like to play a game where you have equal opportunities? Imagine you are playing a game on Reinhardt and you would expect your teammate to go Reinhardt as well, so you can actually see who's mechanically better. Yet every single time I diff my opponent on Reinhardt, my boy swaps Orisa. And I understand that this guy lost psychologically, but his little ego cannot take all the damage that has been dealt to his little ego, his massive feeling of domination, his massive feeling of an achiever, a character that's never losing, is lost, and now he is on the path from the dark side. He counter swaps. And then if you are a player that respects yourself, you stay the same character and you diff in many ways. But there is an easy way. You can start going for rock, paper, scissors as well. You can pretty much forget about getting better at a certain character despite all the counters. And you go in and rock, paper, scissors. Oh, he plays Orisa, I'm gonna take Zarya. Oh, he plays Zarya, I'm gonna take Reinhardt. Oh, he plays Reinhardt, and I'm gonna play Orisa. It's interesting how I've had games where opponent would try multiple tanks, and nothing happens. And the main problem is not a certain character that you are playing, but the fact that your skill issue is not allowing you to grow and fix the mistakes that you are making unconsciously, not even thinking about them. It's very interesting how people think that there are characters that counter other characters. They think that, oh, if I'm playing Reinhardt into Orisa, there is nothing I can do as a tank. Correct. You cannot do anything, but you have 4 more teammates that you are leaving out of equation for some reason. You are not paying attention to the fact that you have the whole team standing behind your back that can change their character, change their playstyle, change their approach, so they can actually completely transform the situation and make it so Orisa is a free kill instead of a person that's bullying you so hard. You have no idea how to counter the character, Sombra, Symmetra, Zenyatta. You take one of them, and her life becomes as miserable as you possibly think it would be. It's interesting how people are afraid of playing into their counters. They never learn what a true power you can possess playing a certain character. It's interesting how you are expected to do so much with the nerf of one additional tank. The fact that you have no variability, you have no element of surprise, because every single time you would want to go and flank as a Hog player, your team is gonna cry like little crybabies. They're like, oh, first of all, why are you playing Hog? Second of all, why are you flanking instead of playing front to back? If you would want to play Wrecking Ball, you're gonna get criticized for not being with the team, not feeling for the backline, while you are literally distracting 3 players onto you, and your talented teammates cannot even kill 2 of them. 4 versus 2. Everything I say here is very relatable, and combination of those factors make the tank role absolutely unenjoyable, utterly unplayable, and I feel like it's gonna get even worse with the add of the new character in Season 6. The fact that you are expected to do so much to pretty much never see any results. You cannot press tab and see how much space you created. You cannot see tab and see how many players you have distracted. So your talentless DPS players will miss their shots out of bad positions instead of taking good ones and hit them shots. There is not a single parameter that actually says how useful you are on a tank. And this is the part of the reason why you're getting blamed so much. Another thing is that it's pretty hard, it's difficult to not make tanks overpowered. This is exactly Blizzard are pretty much not doing anything to change the meta, and you have the best tank in the game, Winston, and then you have second best tank in the game. I would say it's going to be Ramadra. And then everything else is just a net negative value character, especially if you're playing lower level characters such as Wrecking Ball, Doomfists, and Hog. I'm trying to be realistic with my approach to the current situation, and I understand that nothing is going to change. With the recent nerf of a 6 versus 6, and as soon as we adopted the 5 versus 5 mentality, the 5 versus 5 mentality mindset, you have basically killed all the fun and joy of the tank players. There is nothing unpredictable, there is nothing interesting, everything is very boring. You would want to play your favorite tank, you're gonna get countered. You would want to play an off-meta tank, you're gonna get countered plus blamed by your own teammates. And one of the better skills that I have acquired while playing tank is never ever listening to my teammates. You would want to think as a player that already made it. You would want to think as a top 50 player, not a plat player in your game that's telling you what to do. If you would take his advice, you're gonna end up staying on his level, and this is exactly what he wants from you. When you are playing tank, one of the best things that you can do is to mute the voice chat. To completely squelch the text chat and just focus on improving while watching the professional VODs, while watching guides, while watching your own gameplay. And even then, I don't feel like this role is going to be very enjoyable. And I feel like every single time I run a duo, it is not fixing anything. Hopefully, we will see some changes to that in the future. But in reality, nothing is gonna change, and this is going to be a state of Overwatch in which this game is going to slowly fade away and eventually die. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Take care.